we're swapping between Batman and Detective, and I think one of the interesting things when we get to that is just the jarring shift back from year one, uh, part one, back to Detective, where it's kind of funny how Batman was making this leap forward and Detective was still doing classic, here's some, chum Batman and Robin antics.
Yeah, and not to get too into it, because, well, I mean, it's the first thing anyway.
It's the first book, so yeah, it doesn't really matter.
It's one of the weakest issues of Detective we've had so far, I think.
Yeah, possible. I don't know. I wasn't super hot in like the second half of that Catwoman 2-parter. I don't think so.
No, that's true. But I found more to enjoy in that one than you did.
This one made me laugh more. Maybe not for the right reasons, but
yeah,
it was a more entertaining read. I think. Again, not because it was good necessarily, but there was amusement to be had. A couple of panels in particular caught me off guard. It's a Scarecrow story. So this is Detective Comics 571 we're getting into here. Mike W. Barr writing with Alan Davis on the art. This is a story about a Scarecrow who's selling an anti-fear gas to people, essentially, so that they'll not be afraid of anything, but it's having the negative effect of them having no like safety impulses, so they're just doing crazier and crazier things until they die. And the issue starts with this race car driver who just does this insane,
just doesn't brake and tries to overtake someone.
Just does this insane stunt and dies, which leads to our first and most prominent laughable panel of the book, which because it starts with Bruce and Jason. They're just there. They're at the races. They're watching, having a good time. Whatever. Although obviously Bruce is concerned because there's been a couple of weird incidents recently, so he's kind of working. Jason's just enjoying a hot dog because he's Jason. Why would he be doing anything important? But they run out when this car crash happens, and Batman gets a hose.
Incredibly fast costume change as well.
There is that, yeah, because he senses something's wrong before the crash actually happens, and then by the time the crash happens and there's fire, they're already in costume and swinging into the track. But Batman gets a hose, and he's like, "I'm going to have to go to the car and like pull out the driver, and because it's so hot, you're going to have to hose me down. It's our only chance." Which is weird in of itself as an idea. Like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But there's a panel here where Robin is spraying Batman with the fire hose, and this is the word balloon that Batman has here. I'm going to read this word for word.
I know exactly what this is.
I'm gonna have to let me take a wee drink before I read this. This has to be a good take, Con.
Yeah. This is a pretty spectacular line.
Okay, here we go.
Do a Batman voice. Where you do it, don't forget.
What, like a Bale Batman voice?
you choose. Do any Batman voice you like.
Good boy. Hose me down now. That's it. Good and wet. Hose me down now. That's it. Good and wet. ...
I'm going to give you a small amount of credit there for getting through that without laughing. I could have managed that.
I don't. And he's like, keep the hose trained to me no matter what as he runs out of the fire. Okay, I get spraying him with the hose when he's actually in the fire to try and maybe douse the flames a bit as he's running through. But he grabs the driver, he gets out, and then when he's holding the driver, he's holding him sort of in his arms, and Batman says, "Keep that spray on him. That's right." ... Like, how? Why is this written like he's a paedophile? I don't like. He said. Do you know that scene in Dodgeball where they're doing the car wash and the fat guy's got Justin Long like washing his tires and he's like, "Yeah, get in there, good boy." Like that's what this is written like.
They could have lifted the dialogue from that movie right out of this.
I just baffling. Baffling. But yeah, so he's in a good mood. The driver's in hospital, he's in a good mood, but Batman does some detective work with the old microscope and is like, "Oh, this is a Scarecrow thing." He asked Jason if he knows who the Scarecrow is, and Jason gives a couple of panels just to tell the audience who the Scarecrow is, just in case they don't know. Honestly, as far as a little flashback previously in Batman goes, it was fine. There's a little, here, this is just Scarecrow is. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, just in case this is your first Scarecrow story ever.
Jason's, of course, terrible at surveillance. He's bored watching the hospital room, thinking Scarecrow might come back. Scarecrow's whole scheme here, by the way, is to basically then sell them an antidote for the fear toxin, or the anti-fear toxin, which he tries to charge them, was it 50 grand, I think? So that's his scheme. He basically makes them sick in a way that will kill them if they don't pay up for the antidote.
It's a flawed plan, though.
Yeah,
because they're so unscared. They're like, I don't need no antidote.
Yeah, it's a flawed plan because they're more likely to die than actually survive to get the antidote. But
yeah, because this guy would have died if Batman didn't save him.
But Scarecrow's not the brightest, the bulb in the.
He's an actual doctor.
Yeah, but he's a mad doctor. He's bad financially. His financial sensibilities aren't all there.
Yeah, I'll give you that. His business sense is dreadful.
When it comes to chemicals and toxins and the chemistry and he's got his beakers out and test tubes.
Isn't he a doctor? He's a professor and he kind of does all this stuff. But does he have a doctorate?
Yeah, he's been called Doctor. He's been Dr. Jonathan Crane. I've seen that.
That's fine.
They've called him that tons of times.
For a second, or I couldn't picture it.
Yeah. Of course, Jason gets all cocky, jumps in to fight Scarecrow on his own when he does show up.
I do like how Scarecrow's like, oh, thank God, it's just you.
It's just you. Which is actually kind of funny because it just so happens that the arc in Batgirl that we're concluding this week is also a Scarecrow arc. And I thought it was interesting how there's a very similar moment in that issue where Batgirl jumps in and he's like, oh, it's just you then. Oh, okay, not Batman. All right. Of course, in that issue, I was rooting for Batgirl to prove him wrong. Here, I was like, yeah, of course you're losing. So Jason gets kidnapped and doused with fear toxin. It's the whole thing. He literally puts Jason in a sack and throws him out the window.
No, he drags Jason away. It's the guy he makes jump out the window where he.
Oh, you're right. Okay,
the guy's is like, he's got a last chance to pay for it, and it's $100 grand now, not 50. He's like, I'm not paying. He's like, well, suit yourself, but I bet you can't jump from this window and live. And of course, like, of course I can. I can do anything.
Yeah, he jumps out. No, fair play. Also, reminded me of that joke. This is definitely the best issue of Detective we've read so far. I thoroughly disagree with the statement that this is the worst. This is the most entertaining by far. Maybe not because it's good, but that joke was legit funny.
I mean, it was a funny joke, but I mean, I still think it is the worst issue.
No. I had way more fun with this one. Scarecrow goes to see this Daredevil as his next victim, this guy who's planning his next big stunt, and it turns out to be Batman. Batman literally rips off the face, and he's got his cowl on underneath the mask. Like, he's got like a fake face on, and he rips off the face, and he's got the cowl on. Like, where are the ears hiding?
I'm defending this is no. Look how big that hair is that he's got on that face. That big massive wig that'll cover up those ears, no problem.
Okay, true. He's got quite. I guess. Okay. The ears are covered. All right. You're right. The hair is kind of elaborate to account for that.
Honestly, my bigger problem here is, we're in an era of Batman where it's just the white slits for eyes, right? There's no actual like eyeballs that you can see. It's just the white. But this guy's got eyes and he's looking around. Did he put on fake eyes on this mask?
I've never taken the white slits to be literal. That's what's there. More just an artistic embellishment.
I don't know. When we have close-ups on the mask and it's still white slits, and it's the same with Jason as well. I think it's very intentional. Like there is meant to be something in the mask to cover his eyes.
I mean, I guess I don't care. I just don't care.
It bothers me on this disguise.
I just don't care. Scarecrow has Batman down with some of his fear stuff. Leaves him an R to let him know that Robin's been taken. But of course, Batman, having been doused with this stuff, is kind of fearless right now, and he's like, it doesn't matter, I can go after him. That's fine. So they're at like a work site, a building site, and we essentially get like a little gauntlet here as Batman goes through various traps set up by Scarecrow. One's involving a truck. I thought it was particularly noticeable that when Batman dodges this big, semi-truck, he uses his cape like he's bullfighting. He sort of holds it up like a matador, and I thought, okay, that was a bit in the flamboyant side. Definitely cheesy Batman here, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think in its defense, this is Batman
on the
with
drug.
No fear. Yeah.
Batman with no fear. All of a sudden, he's way more flamboyant.
Yeah. How is Daredevil not like this all the time?
Oh dear. Oh, that's why he doesn't have a cape, so he's not tempted. But there's a big grinder that he throws his belt in, so it'll explode because all the explosives in there. Then the final trap is that there's like a big spinning. This is proper over the top cartoon stuff, but all the traps here with the big spinning metal grinder like thing that's chasing him down the hall.
Pool when the guns come out the wall.
Yeah, because the final of the issue is he shows up and beats Scarecrow, and then Jason says, "How the hell did you survive that?" And he's like, I was holding my breath in the corner and blah blah blah. But the final beat of the issue, as they're carting Scarecrow away, he's like, "Well, what did the fear show you? What was your worst fear, or how did you regain your fear?" And he's like, "Oh, I basically thought of the worst possible thing, the biggest fear I could possibly come up with, and it kind of brought my fear back." And I laughed out loud at this.
Me too. Yeah.
Because the fears it shows as he's dragging off, because he doesn't tell Jason, he's not willing to tell him, but we see what it is a tombstone that says, "Here lies Jason Todd, murdered by the Scarecrow." No, he doesn't get killed by Scarecrow, but it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, this is 74 to 86. It's not even that far off.
No, it's not a couple of years. It's I don't know, 89 maybe, I think is maybe when he dies, I can't remember. But still, really funny. Really funny stuff.
That's a funny beat. Although, again, that's only funny because of knowledge that we have. It's not actually a funny beat.
Sure, but the guy jumping out the window was funny. All the weird, like, predator pervy dialogue from Batman. No, that I had fun with this issue. It was what it was. I mean, it's not a good issue per se, but it's a bad issue either. I think this is a solid, fun 6 out of 10.
I think it's not the worst issue. I think it's. I mean, by that I mean that I've ever read. I mean, I still think it's the worst issue of Detective that we've had on this show so far. But it's not like terrible. I do think it's too long, and there's a point where it almost feels like that should be the end of the issue. I think it's when Batman's been doused with the stuff and he's given the R, and it's like, okay, he's got Robin. That feels like that should be the end of the issue, and then it should be an issue of the other stuff paced properly, as opposed to just this like 4 pages of weird action sequences. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 5.
No, extending that Catwoman story out to 2 has hurt it immensely. This was perfectly paced for the absurdity little story that it was. Fine as it is.